Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My ex-husband and I, both late 40s, were a real love story for 17 years. He was my world, and I loved everything about him. I thought he loved me too, but about 2 years ago, for about 2 months, he was changed. The change was so palpable that I knew in my heart that it was another woman. He stopped kissing me good morning or good night, stopped asking me on dates, and always declined when I did. He didn't doze off with his head in my lap to a movie every evening, always missing the end. Now he even sat on the other couch. He stopped saying he loved me, and he stopped texting me during the day. I didn't know what to do other than wait and see. And sure enough, after 2 months, he told me he was in love and wanted a divorce. I was heartbroken, but I couldn't do anything about it. I would never beg someone to love me no matter how much I loved them. He moved out and started the divorce. His new girlfriend, early 30s, moved in with him not long after. My ex-husband is very successful, and our divorce was finalized a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen my ex-husband much since he moved out. I don't know what got into me. I've kept civil and prideful during the separation. I was surprised that he was with his lawyer, because I thought he just signed and didn't need to be there. I signed, and then I looked at him for the first time in 2 years, and just without giving myself the time to stop and keep my dignity, I smiled and said that he now lost the last woman who he would know for sure ever loved and saw him for him and not for his money or assets. He was too smiling at first, probably relieved that I finally was fine enough to look at him again. He complained to our son that I never looked at him anymore. His smile faltered and turned into a shock. Then he started crying. I was terrified of what I did and just left almost running. I got a text from his girlfriend this morning with many insults about me, my character, and my looks and age. Because he was supposed to have proposed on Christmas with all family present, but he didn't. He now refuses to talk about it with her or any of her family, and she means that it was my fault. I ruined their relationship. I blocked her, but I can't help but wonder if I really did ruin their relationship. I even wonder if I care. All I know is that he looked so old and pathetic. I wonder if I ever really knew him or loved him. Well, looks like OP's ex-husband had doubts already, because if he didn't, then it shouldn't have been an issue for him going with his plan and proposing. The audacity of the girlfriend. She had an affair with a married man, but wants to tell his ex-wife that she is causing problems in their relationships. She needs to take a good look at herself in the mirror before she points fingers. OP definitely shouldn't feel bad or blame herself. It's a horrible betrayal after 17 years together, and looks like OP's ex-husband feels guilty and maybe even regretting his decision. Don't you think so, guys? Now let's see if the community agrees with me. Dr. Craniac 2023 says, I think that struck a chord with him, what you said. Maybe he has seen that the new girlfriend is only with him for his money or assets, and that scared him. I think he found the found grass ain't always greener on the other side. I'm sorry you're going through this, but you ruined nothing. Salad Dressed says, how could you resist not texting back? I wouldn't get hung up on him proposing. He doesn't take marriage vows seriously anyways. Kitty Tigress says, she's the mistress, and it just hit him what he gave up and lost. Their relationship was based on adultery in the first place. She's just upset that he's having second thoughts and realized that he gave up a wife for a relationship that probably wasn't even going to last for very long, or one that he's not interested in investing for long term. You got that right. He's old, and he just threw away everything he worked for because he's having a midlife crisis. I, 42 female, attended my son's, 25 male, wedding with his now wife Jane, 24 female, 2 weeks ago. Jane is very different to our family and grew up in a less privileged household. Her family also doesn't celebrate Christmas as part of her religion. Christmas is a pretty big event at my house, and we host a big Christmas party every year. I didn't invite her over for Christmas, as she doesn't celebrate, and I didn't have a gift and stocking prepared for her either. My son is extremely upset for not inviting her, although she doesn't celebrate Christmas, but I thought it might have been rude to invite her. However, on Christmas Day, my son showed up with Jane at my house. I was quite shocked at her presence because my son didn't let me know and I didn't know she was coming. My son and I ended up having a heated argument, and he told me that I should have invited her out of respect for their marriage. But they got married 2 weeks ago, and I planned my guest list for Christmas before Thanksgiving. Also, I've been unsure whether to invite her, as her family doesn't celebrate Western Christmas traditions. He should have told me before. Edit. Jane was my son's mistress whom he left his last 6-year relationship for, and the wedding plans were meant to be with the ex. I wasn't that close with Jane because of my close relationship with my son's ex. I didn't want to include this earlier for my son's privacy. It was rude to invite your son while intentionally excluding his partner. She's OP's daughter-in-law. OP should extend an invitation. She can choose to accept it or not. Her not celebrating Christmas does not mean she has to be excluded from a family gathering. But clearly, the real reason OP excluded her is not that she doesn't celebrate Christmas. It's because OP doesn't like her because she's a homewrecker. Well, then OP should be honest with her son and reveal the real reasons. Also, sooner or later she will have to choose to accept this homewrecker or lose her son, because that's what happens when mothers don't accept their children's partners. Don't you think so, guys? And now let's hear the community's opinion. Hitchhiker to Galaxy says, "Wow, after reading the edit, not the a-hole. If she was the mistress of your son and you were close to his ex, who he was supposed to get married the same day he actually married Jane, I would not have invited her either. I'd not invite her ever to any family gatherings and would make it very clear to them both that you don't approve cheating." Great Minds 95 says, "You're the a-hole, and it sounds like your edit is a massive reach because your feelings were hurt. If there actually was cheating, why would you want your son there since apparently his girlfriend meant so much to you? How did a wedding get changed that quickly in a couple-week time period? You sound like you never liked her and wanted an excuse." Don't Forget Tomatoes says, "You're the a-hole. Only because if you didn't like Jane as she was your son's mistress, and you disapproved of what he had done to your ex-daughter-in-law, then you should have just said it. Just tell the truth. You don't like her because she was a homewrecker, and trust me, it'll be a lot easier to not invite both of them ever again." My daughter, 16 female, is very smart and doesn't treat that lightly. She pushes herself as far as she can go. She's in all the AP classes her school offers. She takes 3 electives: social studies, economics, and computer science, and 1 self-study elective, law. My husband is a lawyer, so he helps her. She takes 2 second languages outside of the mandatory English one. English is a second language in my country. She takes Italian and Russian. Obviously, I'm very proud of her for doing all of this, and I talk about it a lot. This has never been a problem until recently at a family dinner. I was telling my mom about my daughter's recent 100% in AP Math when my sister snapped at me to shut up about my daughter already and that she's not that special. I was shocked because my sister was always one of my daughter's biggest supporters. I don't remember her saying one bad thing about my daughter before this. My mom tried to calm my sister down, but her face was red, which was a big tell about how mad she was. She scolded me for bragging about my daughter's accomplishments when I know how her daughter was just kicked out, her words, from AP Math for a few too many bad grades. I didn't know about it. She never told me, but she obviously told my mom since she was on her side. I apologized because I wanted to keep the peace, but I guess it was obvious that I was still confused because she kept scolding me. After a minute of sitting there, my husband just excused us and we left. I've been getting texts from relatives berating me for insulting my niece like that. I'm so confused, but no one listens when I try to say that I didn't know. I'm starting to really feel bad, and I think I should apologize again and talk to my sister, but I need to know, am I the a-hole? Pupperoni42 says, "Gentle, you're the a-hole for bragging too much to the wrong audience and for not reading the room. Save the extra bragging for when it's just the grandparents, not other parents whose kids aren't at the same level of accomplishments. Everyone sucks here is my formal vote because your sister crossed the line by falsely telling other relatives that you were actually insulting her daughter." Kawa Bonsai says, "You're the a-hole. Read the room. You must have known your niece isn't as academically gifted. Is it really surprising your sister doesn't want to hear about how smart your daughter is all the time? In my family, I was your daughter with a cousin much like your niece. My parents understood it was hard for my aunt, uncle, and cousin. So while we did share my accomplishments, we never bragged or went on about it all the time. Even I understood and had empathy as a teen, but you apparently can't." Conscious Coast says, "You're the a-hole. You sound exhausting. It's probably embarrassing for your daughter. Have a nice conversation with your family. Ask them questions about themselves. Listen to others. It's one thing to bring up how proud you are of your daughter, but no need to brag excessively. So I, 23 female, have grown up with my cousin Sarah, 25 female. We were friends until puberty hit. She fit the beauty standard in our culture. Light skin, shiny straight hair. And while I wasn't ugly, I was a child. Hearing her get endlessly praised and getting crickets about how I looked definitely impacted me. Then, as we got to high school, she'd be invited along with the older college-age cousins to hang out. She'd make snide comments about how they didn't think I was mature enough to hang out with them and ignore me. Fast forward to 2023. I got a job and moved out of state, while she moved back in with her parents. I came back for Christmas and, unknowingly, asked her if she had any good investment tips, just to make conversation because she worked in finance. She gave me a death stare, and my mom pulled me aside to tell me that Sarah lost $300,000 in crypto, and it was a sore topic. I had no idea about this. I apologized to her in private later, and she got even sniffier, which is fair. If I lost that much money, I'd be irritable too. Later, me, her, and the oldest kids hung out, and it was the first time they'd ever invited me too. While talking about work, I work in tech. She kept cutting me off to interject her knowledge about the tech industry. I didn't think much of it because she'd had a couple of hits off a W pen and thought she was just zooted. But later, while I was recounting a date I'd been on and how the dude had asked to go 50-50, she started bragging about her boyfriend Sam, 30 mil, bought her a condo. I congratulated her and the conversation continued. Then, while trying to hype our other cousin, I said, "Talia, you're a gorgeous doctor. It's his loss." To which Sarah cut me off with, "Not everyone gets their self-worth from how much money they make, OP," super rudely. I was taken aback and said she's the one that's always bringing up money in the first place. She got angry and proclaimed her commitment to taking care of her parents and prioritizing building a family, while I apparently moved away to be a boss babe. I had enough and said the only reason she's living at home is because she lost $500,000 and is a spendthrift who has no concept of money, and at least I didn't drain my parents' life savings. My other cousins were signaling me to shut the duck up, which made me angrier, as I remember how they'd excluded me when I was younger. So I said that she's only been given chances because she's pretty enough to be a trophy wife. And then she snapped that Sam makes my annual income monthly. There's no way. She stormed away crying then to another room, and all my cousins followed her, while I hid in the bathroom. On the way home, my mom said Sarah told everyone the things I'd said, and both my parents got mad at me without giving me the chance to explain. I don't think I said anything too out of line, considering Sarah was negging me the entire time. Our entire extended family will obviously paint her as the beautiful victim, no doubt. So I really don't think there's anything wrong with me being angry about it. Curious One says, she was engaged in a consistent course of being rude to you and dismissive of you. Maybe she harbored some wrongful idea that you were bringing up her crypto loss to hurt her or laugh at her and decided to be mean to you in return. You returned the disfavor, somewhat more effectively, not the a-hole. However, the better and more mature response is to stop the conversation, look at her quizzically, and ask her, "What are you doing?" And if she says, "What do you mean?" tell her that she seems to be insulting you, interrupting you and disagreeing with you just to be disagreeable, and ask her why she's doing that. Take the high road. Clearly no one else is. Maybe they need someone in your family to be a role model. Neon Cactus Field says, "Not the a-hole. She's a narcissist. Don't engage. I repeat, don't engage with the narcissist. She's an absolute expert at manipulating everyone and playing the victim. You're too normal, healthy, reasonable to win with someone like this. So gray rocking is the way to go." Economics Careful says, "Not the a-hole. You were extremely patient and kind while she acted ugly to you. You did the right thing by standing up for yourself. Once your parents calm down, explain to them what happened. They will either agree with you or you will find out how little they value you, because you did nothing wrong. Your cousin is in for a rude awakening since once she starts to age, she will lose her pretty privilege." As the title indicates, my sister has met and is dating the man of my dreams. He's smart, funny, kind, and has such similar interests to me that we can talk for hours. I haven't done anything to steal him away, but I've thought about it. Seriously at that. This might not seem like too serious, but I've never even thought of this sort of thing, and look harshly upon those that do it. Naturally, I feel terrible for this, and needed somewhere to just dump it. My sister has been married before, and she divorced officially in January. Our parents helped her move back to where we live, and she declared that she was done with men for a few years. I've been attempting to meet someone for years, and joked that she would likely be married again before I could make it to the altar for the first time. Now, just a few months later, I've met the man she is going out with, and as I said before, he is everything I wanted and can't seem to find. We have so many similar interests, especially things my sister doesn't care about. We talk, laugh, and then he turns to my sister, and I wish I was the one he was looking at like that, rather than the sister of the woman he's seeing. Each time I see them together, I'm envious. Thoughts race through my head about how much I want him to see me, how much I wish they'd break up, and why can't I be that lucky? I feel guilty for these thoughts, but I can't stop them at all. How do I get past this, especially without doing something that will hurt my relationship with my family? Do I just stay silent and try to smile despite feeling like I'm getting crushed? Stop putting him on a pedestal. He's not the man of your dreams. He's just a guy. Don't give him, this crush, so much power over you. He probably has friends with similar interests and life outlooks. See if you can get an introduction.